Yeah, pretty beautiful.
It's pretty. I hear it goes. Doors are added in there a lot. So
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another matchup tonight in the Nidus League. It will be Lit Lost in Translation versus Insight Gaming. Just waiting on the final ready up here from Jagger. Pop open his. Let's get ready for this show to start. Probably leave that whisper. Yeah, just waiting on the final ready check here from Jagger. Okay. Okay. As we have the final ready from both players, we're going to get this game on the road. First matchup for the week is Arameta. A match that has shown a couple really awesome ZVZs in the past 2 weeks for Insight Gaming. No, I don't think the countdowns have ever been accurate, so... Welcome guys if you're joining us. I hope I'm marking this stream out everywhere. Let's get these introductions on the way. Spawning into the top left-hand corner is the blue Zerg pieces from Insight Gaming. It is Xerxes. Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner, playing is the red Terran pieces he got out of the random. From Lit, it is Jagger. Already we see that supply depot going down for Jagger. Or Overlord already making his way across the map so far. Everything looking pretty standard. No proxies from anybody. No cheeky plays anywhere. We do have the drone scout coming out here for Xerxes. Depot finishes up. We should see the barracks immediately after. There we go. So real quick, Arameta is a very interesting map overall. We do have some rocks hidden around here in the back of each expo. A lot of rocks on the map blocking a lot of passageways. You can open up a ramp here, close off a ramp for a choke here. Last week we did see 2 Drunk go down in the final match to Carter, in which Carter did use these rocks very effectively. As we do have the drone coming in here, Jagger is going to put an SCV on that drone and start chasing it around the map. Hatchery has started up for Xerxes. Looks like Hatch Gas Pool is going to be the choice for Xerxes as his opener. So again, very standard openings all around. You have Jagger going for that wall off with a factory behind this. Looks like he will go into Hellions. More likely going to be a Hellion or Hellbat Marine push coming out of Jagger here. Overlord's going to float on into position to see that there is a factory down here. On the other side of the map, looks like Xerxes is opting to take a slightly faster third. Playing a little bit greedier. And wanting to get ahead in that economy. This could pay off. However, at the same time, this push could come out here and do a lot of damage as long as he doesn't have the army. This first Overlord looking like it might float out of here before this Marine can finish it off. Of course, the Marine might just chase it down afterwards, as the second one does come out. So this Overlord will end up falling. Always an annoyance to lose that first Overlord as a Zerg. Player supply cap to Xerxes is floating another one just outside the gas here of Jagger. He sees this, he is going to pull it away. So we do have a tech reactor and a tech 2 reactors starting up. So yes, we will be seeing the Marine Hellbat push come out here for Jagger as the armory does start up. And how does Xerxes respond? He does indeed get the third base started up. As well as he does have the Queens popping out. Speed is on the way. But does he exactly know exactly what he's up against? That is the question. This is a 1-1-1 opening, so it could be anything. It could be fast Banshees. It could be a Raven coming out of here. So what he needs to do, Xerxes needs to get over here and get this scout to see exactly what is started coming out of here. Like I'm eating my words here a little bit, as we do have the Tech Labs or Starport and the barracks flipping around. Like we might actually have some Hellbat drops instead, as we do have a Roach Warren on the way. So Xerxes kind of getting an idea of what is to come here, as these Overlords do end up falling. He does get the Roach Warren out in response, which means he should be pretty well set up for this. He is just droning up. He's still on 1 gas at the moment. You should see his 2nd gas be taken here very shortly. A couple of Marines are going to make their way in here and see that there is a 3rd base down. Going to start firing away at this hatchery here to try and see if they can pick off a drone or 2. They do get 1 drone, but these Lings will end up falling in the process. A good micro there to trade out at least 1 Marine for a couple Lings. We're going to make her way over here to get rid of this pesky Marine. Alrighty, Xerxes taking some very minor losses. Not anything too major just yet. A couple Overlords, a drone, and a couple Lings. But here comes the first drop for Jagger. 6 Hellions loaded up in here. They will be morphed into Hellbats as soon as they possibly can. The first Roaches are on the way, but we do have a lair starting up for Xerxes. The question is Xerxes teching a little bit too hard for this, as he is going to have 5 Roaches popping out. So he should be pretty well set, as he does see these medevacs making their way into the main base. Question is he ready to respawn? He doesn't have any units here quite yet. The Hellbats do morph. There's only 3 Roaches out here, some Queens, and a couple drones not mining, actually. First Queen is going to get picked off. Some medevacs lift up and move out of here. A great micro so far from Jagger is he is going to be able to start cleaning up these Roaches, but at the same time, these Hellbats should start falling. As 1 does end up falling so far, his 2nd one going to get healed up by these medevacs. Xerxes not mining in the main base right now, his Roaches are struggling to pop out here. Jagger is getting on top of this mineral line now. A lot of delayed mining time coming out here, so he is getting a lot of economic damage done, as well as trading out units. So Xerxes kind of in a tight spot right now, as he worker count is heavily in his favor, but army supply, however, this drop will eventually get cleaned up. But at heavy cost of the mining time. Take a quick look at the resources lost, as the next drops are on the way in for Jagger. So Xerxes already losing a lot of mining time there. As the next drop is on the way, the question is, will he be ready for this next push? As he only has a handful of Roaches and some Lings out, and he is continuing to saturate that 3rd base. Actually, all the Queens are dead. There's only 2 Queens up. 3rd one is going to pop out here. The drop is going to drop outside, and Xerxes getting out here just in time as these units morph. These Lings are going to get cleaned up pretty quickly here. We do have more and more Hellions and medevacs being built back home for Jagger. Jagger is just going to keep this push rolling forward. There are some Queens here, there are some Roaches here, so he should be able to start cleaning this up one way or the other. As the Hellions, or Hellbats, do indeed start falling, but the medevacs here healing these Hellbats back up, and a micro from Jagger finding some crucial damage as the Queen ends up falling. Next push should be coming out here for Jagger pretty soon, as he is going to be forced to load up and move these Hellbats back once again. Queens are falling, Roaches are trapped on the wrong side, and he's just not getting enough units out here to deal with this drop. The economic advantage still in Xerxes' favor, but what he needs right now is more army. He might even have to pull drones here to eventually hold this. As Jagger is just going to pick these units up and fly on out of here, realizing he's finding some decent damage and killing off Queens, killing off Roaches. Behind this, there's just more Hellions. He is pretty much on 1 base right now. Does start his natural finally. But as the next drop comes in here, Xerxes holding 3 base, but he just doesn't have the units on the way yet. As his economy does hold on, he should start being able to get this army out here. The Roaches in the main base not doing much, but medevacs here are just going to continue to heal up these Hellbats. Man, there's so many Hellbats here. These Roaches just keep falling, and all he's going to do is pick them up and fly away, re-drop them, reposition them. And more army just continues to fall, but meanwhile Xerxes is making a run by with these Lings here, hoping to find some damage on the other side of the map. Drones once again being pulled into natural, while the Queen in the main is going to end up falling here, as the There's just no spines here or anything to stop this. No static defense as drones are going to start to get fall here. Only 3 so far. Roaches continue to get picked off. He is slowly finding damage around the map, but again, the Hellbats back home are able to defend that Ling run by. The question is, how long is Xerxes going to be able to keep this up? As these drops and the pressure from Jagger is just continuing to do more and more damage over time. A couple Roaches here trying to clean this up. The main base finally does get cleaned up. There's 2 Hellbats making their way out of here. Drones rerallying back to the natural to continue mining once again. I feel some corrosive biles here from some Ravagers really just be able to hold this for a lot better for him. As the next drop is on the way out right now. And again, it's just more Hellions, more Hellbats. But if a Roach count can get high enough, there is a Hydralisk Den on the way now for Xerxes. But if the Roach Hydra count can get high enough, he should be able to hold on to this very easily. And here's another thing, as it goes on, the Medivacs are going to start to take up more and more army supply. He's not actually losing any Medivacs. He's just flying more units across with more Medivacs. He's not really just recycling what he already has. But again, as the Medivac count continues to grow, so does the healing factor for these Hellbats. Roaches are here, should be able to just start picking these off very quickly. 3 more factories being added on back home, so we are seeing that mech transition come out full throttle here. However, he is on 2 base back home, Jagger. Xerxes has taken a 4th. The south here. Jagger is going to pick up once again and try and just come right in here and drop on top of these Roaches. But if the Roaches can get a decent surround on a few Hellions or Hellbats before they pop out, should be able to clean this drop up a lot easier than last time. Medivacs are focusing down the Medivacs. Or Queens are focusing down the Medivacs. Hydras have finally joined this army. And how does he respond? He throws down couple reactors, couple tech labs back home for Jagger. He is going into that Cyclone production behind this now. So he is trying to transition to a different stage of the game. He is going to be able to come over here and find this 4th base. Looks like he might unload to go after this 4th, or he might just bypass it and go to the 3rd. He is going to unload for this 4th base. Xerxes is going to respond by bringing his entire army over to clean up this drop. But at the same time, as muscular augments finish up, these Hydra's damage is going to increase, their speed is going to increase. Which now it's just a matter of finding as much damage as you can with these Hellbats, as there is only 2 left on this side of the map. The drops will finally get cleaned up, putting the army supply heavily in favor of Xerxes, the worker count in favor of Xerxes here, as he is just going to start to open up the map a little bit. A lot of Medivacs being flown out here, possibly to buy time. As Jagger doesn't have any units in these, he's just trying to do what he can to keep Xerxes on his side of the map as the Cyclone pressure is coming next. He does have a 3rd base down. He did planetary that 3rd base. He is going to be able to get his 4th base started as well. Medivacs out here to buy as much vision as they can. We do have kind of reached an impasse in this game where both players are just kind of stabling out here. Xerxes at the not the slight lead, more of the commanding economic lead, commanding army lead right now, but the tanks, the Cyclones are out. We get into a different stage of the game, about mid-game here. Xerxes needs to start finding some damage of his own on the other side of the map before this Terran gets too turtled up here. One Medivac going to get picked off here on the north side of the map. Scan being thrown down to see exactly what army is here. See that there is indeed no 5th base. Looks like Jagger is just throwing down scans right now to try and find out where the army of Xerxes actually is. Xerxes is going to take a 5th base over here in the southern western side of the map. And once again, command center is being added on to planetary up. Make expansions in the future here. Creep spread from Xerxes is going to start getting pretty out of hand as the game goes on here. Queen's going to push that creep out far and wide. Both players again just playing that economic game right now, trying to max out. Xerxes is getting to that point where he will be maxed out. Medivac getting picked off once again. 6th base is going to be taken for Xerxes, but again, here comes Jagger with that pressure from the Cyclones and the tanks behind this. A very scary push coming out here. as Xerxes' army is kind of out of position right now. It is being rallied over here to deal with this. But the tanks will be able to siege up on the high ground and get a very commanding position for this fight. But the question is there just too much Zerg here for Xerxes, as he does have defender's advantage and will be able to push in here and just clean up this army very, very quickly. Tanks sieged up, getting much damage as they can done. Medevac's going to start falling here. As Xerxes says, looks like he's had enough. He is going to start to apply that pressure to the other side of the map. Leaving some units back here to pick off this Medevac on the way. Back home. Like an F2 command happen here. Some tanks going to siege up on the high ground. Xerxes has their high ground vision at the moment. Looks like he will be able to pressure into this third base and pick off a tank here and start to apply pressure to this planetary fortress. Start to find some economic damage of his own, focusing down SCVs as much as you can. 2, 3, 4 already falling. Forcing a lift off on this other command center here. He's just trading out army for some economic damage. He might actually be able to end up killing this planetary with the reinforcements coming over, which means the third base will indeed end up falling for Jagger. As the Medevac's going to be loaded up and lifted out of here with the last few tanks that they had. Scan being thrown down to see exactly where his army goes, and the fourth base will end up falling for Jagger. So it will be 6-base Zerg versus a 2-base Terran, and that main base is absolutely mined out. So he's literally only own one base currently. Looks like Xerxes realized he's pretty far ahead here, so he is just going to back up. Get the adrenal glands started up as he did get into the hive. Infestation Pit has been down for a while, and Greater Spire is on the way. So Xerxes with the commanding lead right now. And Tectro is being everywhere. And he is currently up a little more than double, actually. He's kind of tripled the supply of Jagger right now. And he is just going to use some links here to find some damage on the other side of the map, as the planetary fortress is on the way once again for the third base. He might be able to sneak in here and find a few more SCV kills before this finishes up. There is a tank here to defend this third base. As a bio transition coming out here for Jagger, as I think he's kind of panicking now. He's just trying to find some more cost-effective units, as the mech play has been kind of shut down, as there's no economy coming in to support that at current time. Xerxes going to swing around to the eastern side of the map once again. Baneling's rolling in here to try and find some more damage on top of these SCVs. He does pick up 6 SCVs for that Baneling run by. Sensor tower here is going to be able to pick up exactly where this army movement is at. And he is going to be able to push in here and get behind his third base, and the planetary fortress is going to end up falling once again. There is a tank in position here and very little bio to clean up this army, as more and more SCVs will fall. Worker count now 68 to 29 and growing. Third base does end up falling once again, and this is going to be the beginning of the end, if not the end, for Jagger, our Red Terran player here. As he is currently back down to one base yet again. He is blocked over here with the creep block, but he can't exactly land that here. He did float his main base over there, so he literally has one base mining. A GG will be called. He's not even a GG. He's just going to tap out. Giving Insight Gaming the 1-0 lead currently in the series as we get into game number 2. I will be right back with you while we get the next game set up. Thank you for the follow, Felix66. I apologize. Apparently, I've been mispronouncing Jaeger's name. Call him Jagger. I apologize. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the next matchup in game number 2 of Insight Gaming versus Lit. Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner of Interloper is the red Zerg Pieces, currently up 1-0 in the series, Xerxes. Top left-hand corner playing against the pink Terran Pieces. From Lit, it is Typic. Typic? Just let me know if I mispronounced that. I was apparently mispronouncing Jaeger's name. Wasn't even thinking about it. Last game, I apologize to Jaeger. We do see a very standard opening yet again coming out for Terran here. Is going to be sending an SCV out here. More than likely to scout. And Xerxes is going to opt for that hatchery first this game. Continue to drone up behind this. We should see a gas start here very quickly. There we go. And a pull should follow up afterwards. SCV making a beeline for the natural base here, which hatchery is already going to be down. Overlords are also floating their way out here to get in position. There's our Terran player comes on in here. He is going to see that it's just a very standard opening for Xerxes so far. Hatch gas pull. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, he is going to be following up with a very similar opening. Looks like it's going to be another Reaper expand, possibly. We could see the factory be thrown down immediately after, but the Reaper does start up, so we will see that Reaper expand play. We might be seeing more of a bio focus this game. As last game, Jaeger did come out playing a very interesting composition of Medivacs and Hellbats, which Xerxes did manage to hold on 3 base. Steve, the SCV, is going to make his way back home to beginning mining once again. Reaper going to pop out here shortly and make his way across the map here as a factory should be thrown down behind us. A reactor being thrown down on the barracks, so we will be seeing some Hellions come out here. Reaper is going to make his way towards that natural base. Queen should pop out just as before it gets here, or just after. I think it should be just after. A couple Lings making their way out here to the natural base location. Reaper is going to bypass the natural, head straight into the main. He is looking like he's going to chase down a couple of these Lings here. Looks like he might have had to come back to defense. Only 2 Lings making it out so far. The first 2 have died. Queen going to pop out here. And this Reaper isn't going to get too much more value. Queen is in position to shoot this Reaper away. The speed is about a little over halfway done here. We do have the starport being added on. Tech Lab coming out, so we should be seeing some Banshee follow up here. The mule gets called down in the natural base. And we're going to have the barracks swap once again back over here. There's a starport swap. You'll see a Banshee on the way behind this. A couple Hellions do pop out here to help apply pressure with this Reaper. Couple Lings making their way in from the south side of the map here for a scalp. Maybe to find an SCV kill or 2, but there are a couple Hellions here to shoo these away. Xerxes will be able to make it in though, however, and see that there is a factory and a tech lab here waiting. We're at a starport to pop that medevac out. It looks like we will be having a Hellion drop of sorts, as no armory is on the way as of yet. Lair has been started. It's about to finish up here for Xerxes. There's no Roachhorn on the way as of yet. He is going to take 2 more gases, 3 more gases. See a Roachhorn or a Baneling Nest go down here shortly. Lair does finish up. Hellions are on their way across the map here. Another Queen about to finish up. So he should be able to defend this very easily as he does have his 3rd base down. Curious to see exactly what all kind of damage we can get done here with these Hellions. As they are about to make their way into the 3rd base location, they will be able to see that there is a 3rd here. They're going to drop inside the main up here in the corner. Actually should be ready to defend this. A couple more Queens are being added on. These Hellions are going to make their way into the drone line to see what kind of barbecue commences here. As the drones are stacking up very quickly. 4 drones going down so far. We've got 7 down so far, and this main mineral line has been absolutely ransacked by drones. Or the Hellions. Barbecuing their favorite meal, which is the drones. 8 have fallen so far, and the medevac is just going to pick these Hellions up and get on out of here. So he is just going to relocate to the 3rd base location and start playing knock-knock on this 3rd base. So not any drones here as of yet. But these Hellions, Buffalo will end up killing this hatchery, but the Queens are making their way over here, completely out of position at this point. But there are Lings in the main base now to try and catch this drop. This medevac is going to get pushed away by these Lings. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, a couple more barracks being added on, a command center being added on to take that third base location. A Raven being added on behind this. Thank you for the follow, donate 660. Queens have this. The Queens actually have this medevac trapped in here right now, which means it will end up getting picked off. It should get sniped right here as it tries to make its way out. Well, just enough space to get out of there. Wall off down here for our Terran player. A couple Marines added in here. Got a tank to hold this down. Stim has started. 3 barracks so far. 2 more drones being picked off here by the Raven over here in the natural base. Spire does finish up. Will help out a lot for this pesky Raven hanging around back here. His 4 mutas are on the way. 3 more drones have been picked off. This injection to creep spread for Xerxes is going to be coming. Is going to start spreading. +1 attack. 1-1 is on the way for Terran. Our pink Terran player is going to start moving these buildings around here, playing the shuffle game, getting reactors added on, getting the bio composition up and rolling. No bailing that's added on just yet, but he does start +1 air. +1 glaives for his mutas. Are going to make their way around to the north side of the map. And there should be some missile turrets on the way here to help shoo these mutas away. Nothing in the third base as of yet. A couple Lings getting picked off. Trying to get that scouting information. 2 more drones are going to get picked off by the Raven over here. Like there's one in the third base or behind the third base now. 6 more mutas are on the way. Going to come down to see exactly how much damage Xerxes can find as he is slowly losing drones here and there. Might actually end up losing a Queen as well to this auto turret. Crazy just how much damage this turret still put out. As he hasn't brought these mutas back just yet to find these Ravens and get rid of them. As they are slowly just picking off damage, but the supply is in favor of Typic, or a Terran player. Typic. As well as we're kind of about even 59 to 56 here. Raven's just kind of hanging around, and Muta's looking like they're getting ready to make their way into the natural base here to start finding any damage they can. Reaper kind of hanging out here. He should be able to get that free Reaper kill. Actually, he's going to jump on top of this tank here. He should get the tank before he gets out of here. Already finding some pretty good damage with these mutas. 4 Marines being cleaned up behind us. Hellions being picked off behind us. And Medevac being picked off as well. Going to get to work on these supply depots. Try and find some damage on them. But no economic damage done. More likely just picking off some key units there. And mutas are going to make their way out of here once again. But they're going to rotate around to the north side of the map. Meanwhile, back home, Overlord Speed has been added on. So it looks like he's just sticking to that Ling Muta tech right now. No bailing that's being added in. Xerxes is supply capped right now at 112 to 106. 14 mutas currently in play. Meanwhile, back home, we do have the Terran Marine Medevac mine composition going on here. SCV repairing that Raven. 3 base Xerxes does have his 4th base down. And he's supply capped right now. Okay, he finally gets that straightened out. Muta's getting some SCVs here. They look like they're kind of misrallied to somewhere else on the map. Like they're going to have to make their long way around because of the wall off of these supply depots. As I know command center is going to be added on, but Terran is moving out on the map. Xerxes will catch this, but the question is he ready for this? As 12 Banelings on the production tab are going to finish up before this army can actually make its play. Hit here, or land. Overseers being added on to detect these Widow Mines. Muta's coming back home to help defend this as well. As the Muta Ling Bling is ready to rock and roll for this army. This is Xerxes' favorite, more preferred composition by the looks of it. I never see him do any Hydra Ling Bling compositions really. This Baneling speed is about to finish up. 111 is on the way. +2 air attack for the Banelings. Or Mutalisks. I'm out of it tonight. So heavy connections landing on top of these Widow Mines. Thank you for the follow, Strange. Baneling's going to roll in here and get some heavy detonations on top of these Marines. And Muta's going to be able to come in here and just clean these up. And it looks like we do have some drones falling as well. 4 drones have been picked off so far. And the Muta is going to come back to help clean this up, but already the Terran is going to be able to just continue to rally units across the map. But as he trails these units in here, he will start bleeding out units slowly. As that Baneling hit just absolutely ravaged his army. Xerxes is going to start to posture up and move back out on the map a little bit here. He does have a few Lings, a handful of Mutas, but it is more than enough Terran here to clean that up. It's just going to come down to how well these Widow Mines are placed. There's more and more Widow Mines and more bio being added on, as he is going to take his 4th base all the way in the south, rather than take it in the north. Very smart play, but he is going to have to fly this base all the way down here. As some Zerglings are going to get picked off here. However, the Mutas are going to make their way into the north side of the map, behind the supply depot wall, but there's only 1 missile turret here to defend. These Mutas are going to start dropping unless he gets them out of here. However, he is pulling this Terran army back and forth, left, right, and center. Just trying to find some damage as his 4th base is going to land. There are Thors added on now to help deal with this Mutas. Question is, where does Xerxes go? As he does have Hive started, he is throwing in the macro hatch. 2-2 has started up for Xerxes, but Terran upgrades are on 3-3. Or 2-2 or even right now, but half 3-3 has started as he is making a push in here to the south, to this south base location. The 4th base of Xerxes here. Baneling's trying to finish up, but this hatchery is going to end up falling before he can get rally in here to defend. So already finding some economic damage as he does pick up this base, and the Baneling's getting some huge detonations on top of this army. Split's not being there at all. The Widow Mine's not getting the connections he was looking for. The Mutalisks are going to come make their way back home once again to help defend against this Terran army. But the Thor here is going to be doing a lot of work with the Widow Mines as well. As Xerxes being knocked down to 3 base, trying to get more Banelings, get more Lings out here to defend this. As some Lings are already getting picked off on the rally coming out. Xerxes' 3rd base is in danger of falling. Will he be able to save this? Transfusion is coming down to help save this. Units trailing in from the northwest here, going to get picked off by these Mutas as the Banelings roll into the Terran army once again, finding some pretty good detonations before drones have been picked off as well. Xerxes kind of in a tight spot here. If he holds, he should be alright. But is it just too much Terran here right now? As 2-2 is coming in late, and GG will be called. Tying the series up with 1 apiece. While we get our next map pick here sorted out, I'll unmute the mic and I'll be right back with you as soon as I can. Alright guys, welcome back to the next matchup in game number 3. Series currently tied up between Lit, Lost in Translation, and Insight Gaming. Spawning into the bottom left hand corner is the red Protoss piece, making his debut here in the Nidus League for Insight Gaming. It is Icy Real. I'm just going to stick to the name Real for him. Flying into the top right hand corner is the pink Terran pieces, tying up the series 1 apiece. From Lost in Translation, it is Typic. Typic. I'm going to go with Typic. I think Typic sounds about right. Typic already starting up with that very standard opener. We do have our probe making his way out on the map to get that scout off here. We do have a very similar opening here for Real. Very standard all around, as we do have the barracks starting up for Typic. Typic, I apologize, as he does send out his SCV scout to see what our Protoss friend is up to. Which we will just have a Nexus follow-up after this gateway comes down here. Question is, will he try for the blocker with this SCV or not, which he will do. SCV is going to be able to delay this Nexus from going down for quite a bit. No Cybernetics Core being added on as of yet. He does manage to sneak the Nexus in under the SCV, as the SCV was trying to block it one more time, but he did kind of get pushed way out there. But he will see that there is a Nexus on the way, which means he will be able to follow up with maybe some one base aggression here, or maybe he will expand on himself, which he will be doing. Command Center going down for the natural base here. Meanwhile, Steve, the SCV, is going to make his way back home as the Reaper does pop out. Make his way across the map to continue that scouting information. Maybe find a probe to kill as the second gas does finish up. Cybernetics Core is about to finish up here for our red Protoss. The probe back here gets picked off, but he did see everything on the map, so there's no factory being added on as the probe went by. But he does know that there was a Reaper expand. So already this game being very standard for both players. We do have the factory being added on back home for our pink Terran player. As his Reaper is going to make his way up the back door here. And into the main base here, where there is an Adept here to shoo this away. Grenade being thrown out here, his Shade being thrown out. Does cancel the Shade. As the Reaper is going to posture up outside the natural base here. See what damage he can find. The Militia Core is going to make her way up through this main ramp here to make sure this Reaper can't get any damage. Depth is going to shade down here to push this Reaper away, so he will be in the position to defend this, as the Militia Core should be able to defend up on the high ground. Reaper is going to make his way up once again. Starport being added on, and a couple of Hellions in production here. Something I've never really seen much in TVP. We should see a medevac being added on here as well to make these. You just send these Hellions over. Find what damage he can. Robotics facility being added on. But 2 probes being picked off so far to this Reaper is trying to hold on to those photon overcharges. And let that energy build so that he has something to defend with. Depths making their way back home and make sure this Reaper can't do any more damage, but the Hellions making their way across the map as well. Warp Gate is about to finish up here in about 10 seconds as the first observer is on the way. Very safe idea. You never know when that Widow Mine drop could be coming out here, as if Viking does finish up. I'm assuming this Viking was indeed for any kind of Warp Prism making its way in. 3 probes falling to some Hellions that found their way into the natural base, but do get picked off, but the Reaper making his way into the back here in the main base. Gonna be able to find a 5th probe. The 6th as well. Thank you for the follow, Cog Killer. As this Reaper is going to be able to chase some more probes down and make his way out himself. Militia Core should be able to pick him off before he can actually get out of here entirely. Even if he has to throw down a photon overcharge to do it, which he will do. But at the cost of 6 probes, giving Typic our 33 to 31 worker lead, but army supply about even at 14 to 13. Meanwhile, the Widow Mine drop is making its way across the map as the first Immortal is about to pop out, and there is an Observer in play. But it shouldn't get too much damage done. But we will find out. Because it looks like he is wanting to move out on the map here, which he needs to be careful about. Real kind of setting up for a frontline defense here, but there's no observer in the main base. He does have a Twilight Council on the way. Second observer being added on. Motion Core not here to defend. A boost in from the medevac. The Widowmines are going to unload a barrow. He does pull these probes away immediately. Only finding 3. But he is finding worker damage right now. These Widowmines will not get another shot off. The medevac does kind of posture up here for a little bit of scouting outside. Cannon being added on into the natural, which is something I really like to see overall. Third base being taken for Terran on the other side of the map in the meantime. As we do just see that bio play coming out with a Marine medevac mine composition. +1 is on the way. Is going to start to get into that Marauder composition as well. The observer is going to float his way on in here to observe our Terran player. See exactly what this cheeky Terran player is up to. As a double medevac drop is loaded up and is on the way out across the map. Once again, heading towards that main base location. But he did see this drop come out, so he should be able to respond to this very easily. As he is adding on Blink behind this. Stem and Combat Shield are on the way, which will not finish up before this drop gets in here, but there are Stalkers in place to try and pick off these medevacs, and they are just going to path right by each other. Going to start getting a few shots off. Only one shot, actually. There is a cannon here to help fend this drop away, which will get picked off very quickly here as the Photon Overcharge is going to have to be thrown down. The Bio Army just outside the range of that, and warping into main base as a gas or a simulator is going to get picked off. As the Terran is going to kind of trapped here, but another drop on the way from the other side of the map. Photon Overcharge flying straight over to Photon Overcharge, which is going to time out. This next drop is heading towards the natural base location. There is a cannon here to try and pick off these medevacs. He does get the empty one. These drops will group up together. Looks like they will boost into the third base location. Real just trying to defend all these drops, trying to get to that timing when Protoss becomes a real threat. Widowmine's going to burrow here. There's 3 of them here. He needs to pull these probes away before they get anything off. 4 probes falling from that first one. 5, 11 probes falling here. The worker count heavily in favor of our Terran player at 55 to 35. Thank you for the follow. I am Wii U. I think I pronounced that right. Hopefully I did. Using that medevac to kind of get some information there. This is a heavy Stalker army. So you really don't know whether or not it was Blink or Resonating Glaives that were made, but with the number of Stalkers, you have to assume it was Blink. And he did confirm that by using that empty medevac. As our Terran friend here is getting a lot of damage done economically to our Protoss player. +1 attack is on the way with a Warp Prison to help reinforce this push, and it comes down to this push, honestly, for real. To be able to climb back into this, as he is still on 2 base, with another drop making its way into the main base once again. There is a cannon here to start picking these Marines off, but the cannon will end up falling. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, as 3 probes, 4 probes are falling back home. 5, 6 now. We do see the push for real coming into this third base location. There is a Terran army here to defend this. Thank you for the follow, Tattoo Star. As the battle heat begins here, these Widowmines aren't burrowed just yet. They're actually stuck behind these force fields. No barrow coming out. Force fields trapping his army out. He just needs to snipe the third base and leave. That's all he needs to do here. As SCVs are going to get pulled off the line. The Warp Prism joining in here as 5 SCVs going to start to fall. The worker count starting to even out, but the Warp Prism is in danger of getting picked off here. As more and more Stalkers being added onto this army. Has Real done it, however? Is there enough here for Real to clean up this Terran army and get what he needs out of this? The Stalkers do outrange the Widowmines, so these Widowmines will not find any value. The third base is going to get lifted and pulled out of here, but it looks like it will get picked off as a blink underneath this happened. Terran does end up losing his third base, which he was enjoying that economic advantage for a while, but it's now 2 base to 2 base. A scan being thrown down back here to see if there is a third base for our Protoss player. There is not. As 19 SCVs have fallen. Even out the worker count, honestly, as Typic Artillery player is supply blocked at 106 and 94. And Real finding some really key damage there in what he needed overall. But there is still a very beefy Terran army back here in a natural base location for our Terran player. And Real, knowing that he is just going to leave, because the observer here does see exactly what is going on and sees that there is a lot of Marauders in this composition. He does end up taking his own third base, however. Terran is going to move back down and take control of this low ground, but the Protoss army already heading home. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism is going to make its way around to the main base location behind this armory and the engineering bay. Taking a look at upgrades as 2-2 is on the way for Terran. It is 1-1 for Protoss. A couple cannons being added on at the third base location, I imagine. As Real just has to hold on for one final push. But there is a lot of Terran coming across the map right now. As long distance mining is going on for our Protoss players, his Nexus is not quite finished. These probes are in danger of getting picked off, but that's not what matters. The Force was being thrown down here on top of this Terran army. Can he hold on, as there are a lot of Marauders here and a lot of Medivacs as well? To blink back, trying to stay alive. His 4 probes are falling. The Photon Overcharge is being thrown down on top of these Marines, but I think there is just too much Terran here, which means our Protoss player may end up having to tap out, as 2-2 is going to finish up. Widow Mines are going to burrow and just absolutely detonate on top of the Zealot, and actually on top of the Terran army. So he does have the opportunity to hold on. He just needs to hold on for one final warp in. The 2 gateways already unpowered here in the natural base location. There's no observer here to pick off these Widow Mines. There's more do burrow. And it's down to 5 Stalkers to hold off. And that might just be it. GG should be called here very shortly. As Terran just makes his final push, as more and more Terran, the Conga train, has begun to make its way across the map as probes are falling. A third base is finished for Protoss, but it's not even going to matter, as the last of this army is going to get trapped back here as the pylons fall, and GG will be called, giving Lost in Translation the lead 2-1. Thank you for the follow, XA. Let's see. What was the rest of that? XA, CYK. I don't even know it. Alright guys, welcome back for game number 4. This matchup between Insight Gaming and Lost in Translation. Spawning into the top right hand corner. Red, Zerg pieces from Insight Gaming, the first Masters player of their division. Still a Fox. See how much of a Fox he still is down in the bottom left hand corner. We have our Pink Terran pieces currently up 2-1 in the series. From Lost in Translation. It is epic. Ah, there we go. Ah, whatever. Epic already off to his very standard opening of going into that Rax gas. He might actually be changing it up a little bit as the gas was taken a little bit later. He did not go gas first with this. SCV already making its way out on the map to scout. We do have Fox throwing down his natural hatchery before his spawning pool. So we'll see that hatch gas pool. As we are on Verdure Temple, which does have a bit of a rock play to it. You have some you can knock down here. You kind of make your way around between the natural and the third base location. As well as make it a little easier for some players to wall off using these rocks, but keep in mind those rocks can also be killed. Epic is going to get in here and see that there is indeed a hatchery down. He is playing against a very standard opening for Zerg so far. His hatch gas pool, which is going to prompt him to go for the Reaper expand. Orbital has started up. At which point Steve will make his way back just in time for the Reaper. Oh, we do have a bit of a change here. We have a reactor being added on before a Reaper. Another depot being added on, but only on one gas. Are we going to see 2 Reapers pop out here? Or... okay, nope, there's the factory. He is immediately transitioning into that Hellion play. As 2 Marines are going to start up here to pick off this pesky Overlord, as Fox is going to be able to float up here. He should end up losing this. Looks like he is going to leave. Did you see the factory? He didn't see the factory. Okay, so Fox is just going to back this Overlord out of here safely and make sure it stays alive for another day, because he doesn't want to lose that first Overlord to those Marines popping out. Which cannot see... oh, wow, he can see up. We'll be able to park this Overlord safely finally, as he does know that there is a natural expansion down. Fox playing a little bit greedier, though. He is going to take that faster third before that 3-minute mark. Is pretty much standard nowadays for a lot of Zerg players, as there are some Lings here to put pressure here. Try and get a scout. 2 Hellions are queued up here. 4 Marines out so far to shoo away any Lings. As we do have a starport being added on. Again, this could be for the Ravens, this could be for the Banshees. We'll find out soon enough. Gases you have so far? 2 gas? Yeah, this could be for a Raven. Well, we just do have 2 more Hellions about to pop out here. A medevac being added on. Where's the army? There's the army. So we are going to have the Marine Hellbat push by the looks of it. As these Lings just desperately trying to find a way into the main base for a scout or find some kind of SCV damage. Should not happen at this point in time. He just needs to run up here and see how many Hellions are here. Did he start his Roach Warren yet? No, he doesn't even have his Roach Warren down yet. 3rd hatchery is about to finish. And he's just on Lings. He's only on Lings. The 3rd base does finish. There is no Roach Warren started. He needs to start his Roach Warren here to be able to hold this push. As the Marines are going to load up, and here comes the pressure. These Lings are going to be able to spot this, but is it too late? 6 Lings being added on. 2 more Queens being added on, but again, with no Roach Warren here, this is going to be a very tough hold for Fox. As this Zerg is going to make his way to the 3rd base location. Be able to morph these Hellbats. Be able to push right in here as Cloak and Banshees do start up back home. 3rd base is going to be evacuated, which means it will end up falling. There's no chance of holding this at all. Sport Crawler being added on, but Banelings being added on as well. There's a Baneling that's only halfway done. Marines are going to come out here to try and start focusing down some of this army. He does wind up picking up... does not even pick off the medevac. Only 1 medevac here healing this is going to make it a little bit tougher to heal up. I'm surprised he didn't try to focus down that medevac there to try and pick that off to get rid of this healing factor and trap this army. The Lings are going to get in here on top of these Hellbats, but they're just going to get cleaned up immediately as the Ling Roast continues. That Banshee has finished up. The second one has started. It is all the way across the map. There's more and more Hellions. More and more Hellbats are being added on and sent across the map. And again, he should have picked up the medevac sooner, but the third base will end up falling here. The Fox, this is what you gotta do. You just gotta back up. Back up. Get some Queens out. Get some more Lings out here. There's no... Oh, but he might end up getting the first Banshee. That's a huge pickoff, actually, is he will not have to worry about a Banshee into that natural base location just yet, but there is a Spore Crawler added on just in case. A couple Hellions here are going to get cleaned up, but at what cost? There's another Banshee is going to be added on. 2 more Hellions being added on. As this army is going to be able to get on top of this here and start cleaning this up, but the Queens being focused down by the Hellbats and the Marines. There's just so much damage being done here. There's still a Fox, as he's down to 2 Queens left to defend. And he's droning out. He's made 4 more drones behind this instead of more army. Fox, you haven't cleaned this up yet, man. Okay, you finally pick up the medevac, which means you should be able to pick this up and just clean the rest of this up. I mean, as these Banelings aren't even going to finish, not even going to get the best of detonations off here. As the Transfuse is being thrown down on top of these Queens, he's making this hold a lot more difficult than it needs to be. As another Banshee does come in here, it is going to start getting focused on immediately by these Queens, but 3 Marines left here. Should pick up 1 more Queen before they all die. But again, 2 more Hellions being added on as more and more Hellions are trailing in across the map. Just the pressure is being continued. This Fox is like in so much damage. There's so much damage been done to Fox here. He's ahead in workers at 39 to 33. But he doesn't have the army here to clean up the last of this, as 2 more Hellbats do make their way into the natural base. Which means he will clean this up, but at a heavy cost. His back home, the production is being kicked into play here. He's being kicked into overdrive, I should say. There's more barracks, more reactors being added on. Plus, one hasn't even started up. The stem has started up. Third base is going to start here for Taipei back home. Queens being added on. He did take a third base location to the south here. So he does have his third up. He is able to keep mining his state in the game. But that was scary. That was incredibly scary for our Zerg friend here. As now it is down to Widow Mines to defend back home. As he is going to attempt to run by and try and bait out the first Widow Mine hit here. He does bait the first one. Confirming the Widow Mines are here. Is going to send up a couple more Lings to try and bait out a couple more before he swarms in here with these Lings. Well, unburying the Widow Mines so they don't get the connections. He does manage to find 2 SCV kills before he has to back off here. So he does find a little bit of damage with this run by. Only about 100 minerals worth, but if you take a look at the resources lost here for Fox and what all he did lose, and that's what's depressing. He only got 2 SCVs for those few, but he is ahead in worker count still at 54 to 41. He is able to get his layer up. He is able to start a macro hatch, which he is going into that Ling Bling Muta. Oh, nope, there. It's a Hydra's Den being added on. So we're going to see the Hydra Ling Bling composition coming out here against this Terran player. Which Hydra Ling Bling is kind of like the standard now. It has been a major shift towards that Hydra play. As he does manage to start his 4th base location back home here. So he will be able to stay ahead in workers. As it looks like Terran is going to get ready to start to push out on the map here. Looks like he wants to hit a timing before this Hydra army can kick into overdrive and really be here. As the hooks are on the way, so Baneling speed is about to finish up. Plus 1 attack is on the way, so he will have 1-1 for this timing. He is going to move out on the map here. Some Marines and some Widow Mines. 3 medevacs in this push. Fox sending a couple Lings out here to see if that army is still back home, which he will not see it. We'll see that it isn't as it makes its way into the 4th base location. He does spot that the army here with these Overlords, so the Lings will come in here and start trying to bait out as many of these Widow Mine hits as they possibly can. Going to immediately unbarrel that Widow Mine, cancel the 4th base, scan being thrown down to hit this creep tumor to see exactly where this army is. But the Lings getting on top of the Marines here, forcing some splash damage from these Widow Mines as a huge detonation goes down over here. Cleaning up the last of these Banelings and 3 Hydras left here to clean up the last of this army, which they will be able to do. But again, Fox taking some army losses there, as Terran does trade out very effectively against Lings and Banelings with those Widow Mines. Our pink Terran player is going to load up a drop and head on back around here towards the main base. Fox will be able to see this, to see how he reacts. He does have a lot of Lings being swarmed in here to his third base location. He should be able to start finding some damage. He will get pushed away, however, as he is just going to respond to this drop coming in here in the main. You see, it is just going to go right on by. He should be able to reposition his Lings up here in the main base to deal with this drop. So this drop shouldn't find too much damage. But again, it's just buying Terran time at this point to get his third fully saturated, get that Mule Hammer online. As Widowmines do get picked off before they can burrow. There are Hydras here. One Medivac should get picked off. This drop is going to make its way around the back here towards the natural. First Medivac does get picked off, but he needs to get this Medivac full of Marines. That would just be a very good pick off for him to find that little minor win here. It looks like he is going to start applying pressure back out on the map. He is going to have to respond to this drop coming in here as these Marines do unload, finding 4 drones so far. Drop will finally get cleaned up. But again, the Terran army back home is just getting to be really, really powerful at this point. It's just Marines and Medivac mines, however. As another drone does get picked off here, but the Medivac finally getting cleaned up. Which should allow Fox what he wants to do, which is to apply pressure to the other side of the map. Meanwhile, our Terran player back home is in position here to have some army back home to defend this push coming up. I think about 4 Widow Mines in this army. Some more ready to pop out here. Ling gonna come up here and scout and see where our pink Terran player's army is. Fox is gonna get to work knocking down these rocks so he can open up the pathway here, so he has some room as 2 SCVs do get picked off. But what looks like some kind of run by. A Baneling being detonated on top of that Widow Mine to try and pick it off. He should be able to swarm in here and get a very decent connection with at least the Widow Mine splash or the Banelings, which he will do, forcing Terran to have to back off as these Banelings are going to roll in on top of this Bio army. Medivac's going to get picked off here. Widow Mines are in play, but there's just too many Hydras here at this point. He's trying to load up and get out of here. He should be able to pick off 1 more Medivac before he gets out of here. He will end up doing. The Fox starting to get that better trades in the army here as his army it does continue to grow. Army supply 60 to 49. Worker count in favor of our Zerg player as he does continue to make his push across the map. Medivac's coming out here for that hot pickup to keep these couple units alive. Widow Mine is going to get triggered and it looks like it will detonate on the Lings in the back. But that's not going to stop Fox. He is going to keep pushing forward, keep trying to end this game. But at least find some more damage crucial enough to get at to keep his lead that he has earned himself. His upgrades are at 2-2. Army supply in favor of Fox. Worker count in favor of Fox, but only just barely. As Fox rotates around here, he's looking at Terran player base. There are some tanks stuck in the main base here. He will be able to push into this third base. But Ling's not here to buffer for these Hydras, as these Hydras should end up falling and they're getting trapped behind the Hydralisks. He needs to pull back as the Banelings do finish up. He needs to pick this fight very carefully here. As if he can get this detonation, the third base will die. Which he does do, as he will be able to keep pushing forward here. Third base is going to have to be evacuated. As Terran is going to come over here to try and defend this. There are some Widow Mines here. Hydralisks do outrange these Widow Mines with that muscular augment upgrade, but the SCV is 15 SCV is getting picked off. Third base is going to fall, putting Terran in a 4-2 base deficit as his main base. And what looks like his natural is almost mined out. And this is going to be the beginning and end, if not the end, for our pink Terran player. As Fox is just going to continue to rally more and more army across the map. And GG will be called out, tying the series up at 2 apiece. Which will prompt the first Masters player from Lost in Translation to come out and face our Masters Zerg player, Astilla Fox. Now I'll be right back with you as soon as we get this next game loaded up. Alright guys, welcome back for game number 5. Game number 5? Yeah, this is game number 5. The series is tied 2 apiece, and it is all Masters Division from here, folks. It's spawning into the top right-hand corner is the red Zerg pieces from Inside Gaming, tying the series up 2-2. It is still a Fox. Good luck is that. Wish to both players. It's spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, or the top left, or bottom right-hand corner. The teal Zerg pieces. Teal? Yeah, it looks pretty teal. Of Proxy. I'm lost in translation. But the real question is, does his name live up to the strat? Does he, Proxy? I think he is going to go for that hatch first, so I'm assuming not. If both players do open up hatchery first, and you know what? This is the first mirror match of the night. I have to say the matches tonight have been very diverse in race. The first ZVC we've had. It's very nice and very healthy for a lot of viewers to see, because if it's just Zerg all the time, it's just Zerg. I mean, but as we know, it will be hatch gas pool opening for both players. Body pool is starting up at about the same time. Fox's gas a little bit further behind, as he probably did opt for a second drone. The Overlords are going to float their way across the map here, pass each other up, trying to give that peace sign as they float by. The Overlord is such a majestic creature. Look at this guy. Look at him, he's so majestic. All he does is float. Look at him. Look at them eyes. Yeah, so majestic. Body pools are going to start to finish up. Hatcheries are going to start to finish up here on Carnivore. Carnivore is a very normal-ish map. You know, you do have a long rush distance. Rush distance up the middle here. But outside that, very normal-ish map. We should see a lot of Ling Bling Buta play going on. Or just Ling Bling into that Roach War. You're so used to say Ling Bling Buta all the time. As you do have the first few Lings on the way into... Proxy does indeed throw down his Baneling Nest. No Baneling Nest on the way for Fox as of yet. Looks like he is going to... There we go. Throws it down here in the natural. So again, that mirror match is going to come down to who can get the best Baneling connections, who can get the best Zerg surround, best surface area. As it looks like speed will finish up slightly in favor of Proxy as Fox makes his way across the map. And is going to opt for that third base as 4 Lings against 4 Lings are going to start up here. However, Fox's Lings are very bruised here, which means he will have to get out of here, but speed is going to kick in, which means he should lose at least 1, maybe 2 of these Lings before they can make it home. Speed finishes up on time. At least 1 Ling shall fall in this little race back home as both players do opt for that third base. Looks like all the Lings will survive to fight another day. Better play tag, as some people say. Okay, so the Banelings are going to start to morph in here on the high ground. Fox is looking to be the aggressor, or the aggressive player here. Going to morph in 4 Banelings against 2. And there's 2 more Banelings in the third base being morphed in here. First 2 Banelings are going to finish up as he does try to focus down a couple of them before they do finish. A first Baneling connection on top of these Lings, however, swinging this battle in favor of Fox as more Lings do trail in, but the Banelings for Fox finally finishing up. Going to make their way in here, trying to find the best connections that they can. Going to pick up 4 Lings for their troubles so far, as 2 Banelings are going to start up once again, but more Lings. Going to finish up here. He is just trading out Banelings. These aren't the best trades, Fox. He loses 3 Banelings for 3 Zerglings on the 1-to-1 detonation, so he really didn't get anything out of those. 4 more Banelings are going to morph in here, but I like the way Proxy morphs his in. Kind of staggers them. As he is trying to bait this fight right here on top of these cocoons so that he can try and surround them in and get the immediate detonation on at least 1 of them. For some of them, as he does pick off 3 there. Gonna walk in on top of these right here and probably get the 4 up here in the corner. As the Ling Bling battle just continues as both players continue to build more Lings and Queens. Right now the surface area and the Ling count is heavily in favor of Fox. Just 14 more Lings are going to finish up. As we make his way back to Fox's third base here. The finisher's advantage will be in his favor as the micro from these 2 players is going to have to be on point as these Banelings start to come in. But the real question is, who is going to be the ballsier player to transition into that Roach War faster? Or first? Stage 1 of ZVZ as the Lings do just ravage each other back and forth as the Banelings try to detonate. And Fox trying to get a detonation with these couple Banelings. He is bruising them up. He will be able to clean these up. Finding 4 Banelings before they do finish. On the east side of the map here, out towards the center, more Banelings do get morphed in. And the surface area going in favor of Proxy as Fox does manage to get the surround, however, on top of these Lings. But the Banelings coming in here looking for a detonation. He is going to be able to pick up quite a few of these. About 3 of them there. He does manage to trade out very effectively there. But Fox, watch out for these Banelings from the top, Fox. Oh, 1 Baneling detonates on top of these Banelings, so he didn't lose all 4, but they will be bruised coming in here. Actually, it can kind of help Fox if these Banelings do try to get focused down. If Split's coming out, he is trying to get the biggest chunk he can, as more Lings do run by towards that 3rd base. Fox trading out some Lings here. He is going to bring his army back to deal with this. A Queen out. Does get picked off pretty quickly by the Ling run by. So far, it's just Ling Bling all the way. It's the first Roach Warren. But it looks like it is going in favor. It's still a Fox. Is there a Roach Warren back home? No, there's no Roach Warren back home. So he is trying to transition out of this. Transition into the next stage, which is that Roach composition. This Fox is just trying to find damage he can. Find the best detonation he can here. Trading out 2 Banelings for 2 Banelings. That is a very effective trade. Trading out 1 Baneling there. So he is trading 1 for 1 of these Banelings. There's 4 more are going to finish up. But however, the first Roaches are going to come out here for still a Fox, which is going to give him the slight army tech advantage. But the big run by into the natural here. Going to find some damage in the drone line in the natural and probably find some in the main. But it looks like the Queens here are going to get surrounded and picked off as 2 drones are going to fall so far. And Fox finding an opening in Fox's lines as he is going to pick up 5 drones now as he's just trying to focus on the natural hatchery. Find some damage somewhere on the map. Drones are going to get pulled back down here, but these Queens getting this round back here. This is in the main base. More drones are continuing to fall, but he will clean up with the drones. More Lings making their way into the main base once again, but on the other side of the map here. 3rd base is going to get surrounded by the next run by. Fox has to defend this as 9 drones are falling. He is losing the worker count lead. It is 30-28, but he is Roach's first. So, if he can hold on here, he should be ahead very effectively, army-wise. But it looks like he is starting to slip as these Roaches do get surrounded. And more Lings continue to trail across the map. Fox getting caught out of position there with that run by. And drones being pulled once again to have to fight these. The Banelings do morph into main base. Queen does get picked off. As 3 more drones fall. This 3rd base not being able to be mined from. Ling's going to pop out of here very shortly. Going to get picked off before anything happens. There's no Roaches here. So Fox's Roach transition failing him here. As more Banelings continue to morph here. Fox not going to be able to clean these Banelings up before they finish, which means they will be able to detonate on top of this Queen, or more likely on top of this drone line. They will come rolling in here and get a detonation for up to 15 drones have fallen. Fox just falling apart here. GG will be called. The series will go 3-2 as we come up to match point for Insight Gaming's elimination game. Can Proxy close it out, or will we see Insight Gaming stay alive? Alright, I'm going to mute the mic, folks. I will be right back. Alright guys, welcome back for possibly the elimination game for Insight Gaming. Spawning into the top left-hand corner is the red Zerg pieces from Insight Gaming. It is 2 Drunk. Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner is the teal Zerg pieces from Lost in Translation, looking to close this series out. It is Proxy. So again, second mirror match of the night is another ZVZ. Who knows, the third one might be a ZVZ as well, as the Overlords are going to start their way out on the map. The Boma having that pocket expand. 2 Drunk we see is going to go ahead and take control of, as we do have another Proxy is going to take the forward expo. Down here where his third base location would be. The 2 Drunk expanding back, playing it safe. Outside that, everything's going to be a very standard map. Standard opener by the looks of a hatch gas pool for both players. Really the only thing to note about Boma is the fact that there is indeed a gold base up here next to the Xel'Naga Watchtower. So that might end up being a popular 4th base location. Maybe 5th base at that point to get that economic boost. That's if this game makes it to that point. This 2 Drunk immediately going to start mining that gas. So it was our teal Zerg player of Proxy. Spawning pool is about to finish up about the same time. Other than that, everything just pretty much standard all in all. Last game still Fox supposedly thinks he got called out of place. I think his biggest issue is that Ling run by kind of killed him. But the all-in continued. We tried to transition into the roaches. First Queens are on the way for both players. The Lings are on the way. Speed about the same time. Looks like Proxy is slightly bit faster on it yet again, but it won't matter that much. Both of them should finish up about the same time overall. First Lings and 2 Drunk are on the way out across the map to see if they can find their way into a drone line. Maybe get that scouting information out as Baneling nests do start up for both players. And again, it is going to be the similar game as last time of Ling Bling. To see who's going to transition into that Roach Warren first. 2 Drunk makes his way up into the natural base here. There is a Queen here to shoo away these Lings. They're not risking losing them. He's just going to back up, wait for the Baneling nest to finish, wait for Speed to finish. Both players just continue to add on more drones currently, so not anyone being too aggressive here. Present time as the third base is added on for both players. So again, a very similar opening. Base economy. Trying to get the Lings out, trying to get the Banelings rolling. 2 Drunk going to make his way in here and try it and find a drone killer or 2. But these Lings are going to get trapped behind the mineral line and not really get anything else out of it. As 16 Lings are on the way out, and 6 Lings are on the way out for 2 Drunk, 16 for Teal. So our Teal player of Proxy looking to be more of the aggressive player here. 2 Drunk is going to add on his own 16, 18 Lings. Banelings are going to start to morph. So the Banelings are going to pop out and be able to push us away, but the third base is under siege here for 2 Drunk. But keep in mind, he did take the Pocket Expo, which the Baneling is going to be able to make its way down here and find a detonation on top of a few Lings here. Is going to be able to pick up 3 of them. As the Lings are just going to start battling all over the place. Baneling here trying to find a connection against these Speedlings, but being slow and waddling around the map like that, it isn't really going to find much, as 2 Drunk does push us away and does save his third base. 2 Drunk is going to return to favor and be aggressive all on his own. Going to get up here and see that there is a Queen here. He's not going to be able to have the surface area he needs to get this fight. This Baneling, and he is going to morph in 4 more Banelings, but he does have this one Baneling getting ready to make its way up to the line, mineral line here. Try and find a detonation on top of something here. Detonation on top of the cocoons. Didn't get the Zerglings he was looking for. It'll come down to one good Zergling, like one detonation on these Zerglings to find a good amount of damage. The Banelings are going to trade off for about 4 of them there. He is trying to make his way into that mineral line to find some economic damage. Not getting the best of connections on top of these Zerglings. He does manage to pick up a few more there. He does pick up the Queen and gets a surround here on top of these Lings. Banelings are going to finish up, but he needs to be careful here as these Banelings have finished, but these drones are under siege. Two drones do fall, and he does back out of this mineral line. Very smart play here by Two Drunk, as he does force out 2 banelings to detonate. Meanwhile, the main base is clean, looking like he will end up living. Only just barely, as those 2 lings do get picked off. Another baneling here in the mix is 2 drones. Only 2 drones being picked off so far, is a reinforcements of Two Drunk do come in here. Not watching for that baneling detonation, does wind up getting picked off as he does try to make his way into the main base, trying to catch some of these reinforcements from the main. Baneling's about to finish up here, and they're going to detonate right on top of these Zerglings. As Two Drunk not having any of his banelings of his own just yet. As a Spire is actually going to finish up. I didn't catch the Spire, I apologize, but layer transition does happen as a Spire does come into play here, and Two Drunk needs to find the damage to make this not work. To counter this Spire tech coming into play. Looks like he will come in here. Did you see it? Did he scout it? I don't think he scouted it. I don't think he scouted that at all, but these banelings are going to finish up and be able to roll right on top of his mineral line. 3 drones do fall in the natural as the lings do come down to reinforce this, but here comes a baneling run by right into the main base. Two Drunk finding 7 drones, 16 drones with this detonation as the Mutalisks do pop out here and are going to push away these lings, but is there just too many lings for these Mutalisks to clean up? As 26 drones have fallen, there are only 3 left for Proxy as he does make his way into the 3rd base to check for any more drones anywhere on the map. And Mutalisks here being forced to defend as Two Drunk is just going to continue to run straight into the main base to finish off the last of these drones. Queen is going to end up falling here. GG will be called and Proxy taps out, tying the series up 3-3. Both teams now on elimination point. We'll see who closes this series out, as the last map of the night will be Dead Man's Bridge. Here we go, folks. The last match of the night between Inside Gaming and Lost in Translation, with both teams on elimination point. Spawning into the top left-hand corner is Dead Man's Bridge. Is the red Zerg piece is looking to close the series out for Insight, wishing GLHF. It is Too Drunk. Spawning into the bottom right-hand corner is the teal Terran pieces. From Lost in Translation, it is Prosper. Looking to see if he can prosper over the Too Drunk player of Zerg. The Overlords are going to be sent out immediately to start looking. Find out where his opponent is, but once he finds out that it is cross spawns, Too Drunk might actually enjoy having that slight advantage in terms of getting his economy online, getting his tech up, and being able to defend against just about anything that comes out. Meanwhile, it is going to make things a little bit more of an annoyance for Prosper, as he does have to go across the entire map in order to deal with this. As we do have a Reaper expand coming out. Means we should see a factory probably being added on behind this for those Hellions. And one thing about this map is whenever you spawn into 4-player maps, depending on where you're at, you can always find your opponent's base before they do. But his SCV is going to make his way across the map to the lower left-hand corner, which means he's going to be able to see that there is no natural base. Because he should just be able to send it immediately north and figure out where Too Drunk is. Meanwhile, Too Drunk is going to have to like scout all the way across the map just to figure that out. Reaper going to be sent out north. Should immediately get redirected as he does come in here and see that there won't be a hatchery down in this natural base location. No speed starting up just yet. Another barracks or reactor is okay. Another barracks is being added on. Reactor being added on, so it looks like we're going to see more of that 2-1-1 style come out of here for Prosper. Or that's a very middle of the ground or middle of the road Terran opener, but pretty much a staple opener. As he does confirm exactly where Zerg is going to be, we do have the first couple Lings making their way out across the map to try and get that scouting information. The Too Drunk does not have it currently. He will see that there is a Reaper in the top right, so maybe he thinks it's up in the top right, but he will soon find out that Zerg is in the bottom left, or bottom right corner. That Reaper being a little bit of a mind game, picking off that Ling to say, hey, I might still be up here. Forcing the Overlord to have to scout this. Ling being pulled back as he does realize the Reaper coming from the top right. Third base is down for Too Drunk, as the Reaper is going to jump up in here and get shooed away by his Queen. There are some Lings here to shoot this away as well. This Reaper is actually trapped. He won't be able to get out of here now. As his Queen is just going to reposition herself around to the backside. It should be able to catch this Reaper. Why not? Just around here, and the Queen and the natural will be able to clean it up. The Lings do pick him off, but not before all the scouting information was confirmed. Too Drunk going to throw 2 more back into gas here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, a factory and a starport being added on. Stim is about halfway done. The 2-1-1 is going to come out here. Too Drunk, again, realizing that Reaper came from the top right, is going to scout top right with these Lings. I realize, oh wait, there's no natural base here, so he will confirm that it is bottom right at this point. So he does kind of lose out on that timing to see exactly where everything is. Ling's going to get up here and try and surround these Marines, but we'll get cleaned up for the trouble. We should pick up 1 or 2. Too Drunk should start transitioning into his Roach tech, which he does. Roach Warren is in a natural. A couple Spine Crawlers and Evo Chamber being added on. As he is going to start also pushing out that creep spread. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Terran just trying to get the Marines out. The medevacs are on the way. Stim is going to finish up before this drop hits. So far, only 2 barracks online right now. The barracks being added on as he's looking to get the third base started and wall off that main. Going to get started knocking down these rocks. For those who don't know what these rocks are for, these were actually added on back in Wings of Liberty's days to prevent Protoss and Terran from coming along and walling you into your main. Even Zerg, you know, proxy hatching and into the 3 Spine Crawlers, keep you in your main base. As the drop does make its way out across the map, Too Drunk should be able to spot that with the Xel'Naga Watchtower. And she will be able to pull back here, and Overlord is in danger of getting picked off, which will happen. As both players is playing very safe in general, just trying to make sure they don't die to anything early. Queens are in position here. There are Lings out to deal with this. No Roaches out just yet. As you should be able to... Two Queens already getting picked off here is actually pretty huge. Two Drunk is caught in a bad position here as if one medevac is still fully loaded. Hasn't unloaded. He is going to unload in the main. But this drop has found some pretty crucial damage already as he abuses positioning here on the high ground. You pick on these drones on the middle line in the third. Forcing some mining time to be lost, but the surround coming out here from these Lings is Two Drunk trying to focus down these medevacs. Is just going to keep bouncing back and forth between the high ground and the low ground and be able to pick off any drones here. The medevacs going to be able to might get picked off here eventually by these Queens as a full medevac loaded up. The worker count evens out about 46 to 45 as Two Drunk does lose some to that drop. He did lose 2 Queens as well. He's going to reposition his spine crawlers here. Trying to make sure this drop doesn't come back at all. Looks like he uses here to deny the 4th base at this point, which will have to go into that top right corner. Or top right position here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, more barracks being added on. Factory or Starport going to produce a Liberator and a Viking. The Viking going to be here to knock down these Overlords coming in. Get rid of that map vision as the second drop is on the way here for Prosper. Keep in mind, he does have a few units still tucked away up here in this top right corner, in which an Overlord will confirm that these are still here. The Ling is on the way out across the map. It should catch this drop coming in, actually. So, Drunk realizing there's going to be a lot of pressure coming in with no Roaches added on. He actually kind of had to abandon the Roach tech in favor of the Spire to help deal with these drops. As he does try to get to surround these Marines and continue to unload a Widowmine, getting picked up just in time before he got picked off there. But he is responding to these drops really well. Hasn't found too much damage as of yet compared to the last drop that got in and forced some mining time. Be lost and a few drones would be killed. Which Two Drunk should just be able to confirm at this point is 1-1 concussive shells going to finish up. Upgrades for +1 melee is going to finish up for both players. So both players are on 1-1. Plating is about to finish up for Zerg. Centrifugal hooks are also on the way here as a Queen getting picked off out in the open, a Creep Tumor getting denied, so the Marines getting surrounded here as they are going to be forced to pick up and leave. Trying to bait him over to this Widowmine to find more damage, but in the natural base there is a Liberator picking off drones. 4 drones have fallen, 5 drones have fallen. As the first few mutas are going to pop out. On Dead Man's Bridge, Two Drunk favoring that mobility over everything as a drop once again being unloaded here as his Zerglings are going to get on top of this army, baiting him back towards that Widowmine. So far, only 5 drones have fallen to this harass. Two Drunk does have his 4th base. Terran is on 3 base now, so it is 4 base to 3 base. As once again, Prosper is going to posture up here and push in and probably pick off another Queen. Spinecrawler in position here to help push this away as the drop continuing to be unloaded here once again. It's going to come down to these Baneling connections and these splits for Two Drunk to see if he can stay alive here. As this drop is going to start mounting up more and more. But there's just a lot of Zerg here. At Defender's advantage, he should be able to clean this up very easily. As the Marines are going to get picked off. The more Marines being rallied into the back of Viking here to help deal with these mutas. As the healing factor of these medevacs is actually pretty high right now as more mutas are being added on. +1 Laves being added on for the mutas. 2-2 has started up for both players. But Widowmine getting a very good connection here on top of these Banelings and on top of these Widowmines. And picking off a muta for their trouble. But more Terran just rallying in. And it comes down to the Baneling connections. That's what it's going to be here as Two Drunk pushes into this. Trying to find a connection here. Does get some connection on top of these Marines, but not the chunk he was possibly looking for. As more Terran is just going to rally across the map here on this next cycle and be able to push in once again. 2-2 is started. And Two Drunk has to clean this up without losing too much more damage. The Spinecrawler here doing some damage to these Marines. The split's coming out, baiting these Widowmines. And Two Drunk does find some more damage, but he needs to do something about this. He needs to push us back before the next cycle of Marines makes his way across, as it is now on the way. A Changeling here to confirm that there is more on the way as the Creep Tumors are going to start getting picked off. But he does get this round here. These medevacs are going to get loaded up and start getting picked off themselves. But not get the full medevac he was looking for. As Terran is going to unload and reposition here in the center of the map. Widowmines go off, detonating on top of Zerg and some friendly fire on top of the Terrans as well. Two Drunk is going to have to back up here once again. Prosper is just continuing to hold that center map. But again, it is 4 base. His 4th base is on the way as well. It's being floated over now, but there is this Marine medevac mines here. Being actually rather annoying for Two Drunk to deal with, as these Widow Mines have gotten some very juicy detonations. This next Terran force is going to push over into the 4th base location, this time swinging the match around to the other side. 2-2 is on the way and about to finish up. The Hydras are being added on, so we are going to start seeing that Hydra Ling Bling composition here. As the Widow Mines are still finding some very decent connections, actually. This 4th base is in trouble of falling. As Two Drunk is going to get in here and be able to detonate on top of these Marines. And again, is this going to be able to keep pushing forward these Banelings? But 2-2 is about to finish up in about 10 seconds, so it is on the clock for Two Drunk to clean this up and buy himself some time as the Terran pressure continues to just train across the map. But he is starting to find them connections he is looking for, as this Widow Mine is not burrowed as of yet, but this Widow Mine is going to get a detonation on top of these Zerglings. He does push it back, he does buy himself some time to breathe, but the pressure continues to mount here. As the Hydras are out, but it is 2-2 Terran with +1 armor on the way for these medevacs to stay alive. 4th base is under siege of falling. There are medevacs to the north, preventing any kind of run by to the north side of the map. Drones are falling down. It's 6 drones, 7 drones have been picked off. And Two Drunk continuing to getting pushed back over and over. As more Banelings do morph in here, more Hydras, more Links are being added on, but at what cost? Army supply is 93 to 33. If he gets a Baneling detonation, that will come down. That's what it's going to come down to. He has to get that Baneling hit to keep himself alive here. As there's just more and more Terran rallying across the map. And the splits here for Prosper are just on point. As Prosper once again just going to keep pushing forward here. The Banelings are going to rally back in once again as 3 drones are getting picked off so far. Widow Mines getting some decent connections here as the Banelings do find some meat to detonate on, but honestly, it wasn't exactly what he needed. This is Army supply is still 74 to 31. And the Two Drunk is so far behind the workers, being forced to leave the 3rd base. He does take a 4th or 5th base up here in the north, which it should be spotted, as he will come up here and snipe this out as well. Putting this Zerg on 4 base to 2 base. This is not where Zerg wants to be at this point in time in the game. As he is going to come out here with a bit of what little army he does have left. Two Drunk doing some long distance mining at this point. A scan being thrown down here to see exactly what kind of army is left. Widow Mines detonating on top of this army. Going away to Banelings there to get rid of these Widow Mines. It's something, but he still needs to find that connection. His army supply is still in favor of Terran. It is dropping, but it's not dropping fast enough. A GG will be called. And Two Drunk will be tapping out, making the series 4-3 in favor of Lost in Translation. Very explosive game in there at the end. But overall, the Terran pressure, and there's no counterattack, no aggression from Two Drunk. He was just able to get trapped on his side of the map. Prosperous is able to keep that pressure up, keep the rally, keep the macro going. And in the end, he does prosper over Two Drunk 4-3 for Lost in Translation. As he just continued to throw away units there. Just the splits there are just insane for Prosper. They're just not being able to find those Baneling detonations with the Widow Mines, cleaning up any kind of Zergling run-bys or coming in there, and he didn't transition into the Hydras fast enough. I feel that's what he needed to begin with, is a Hydra Ling Bling to deal with this, as the Hydras will outrange Widow Mines. But in the end, folks, it is Lost in Translation that wins 4-3 in the end. With that, I do want to say congratulations to them. Very well played series overall. And with that, folks, I'm going to close it out there. I wish you all a good night and a good week, hopefully. I know it is Monday. Always a terrible day to start the week on. But with that, folks, I am going to close it out once again. And I wish you all a good night. Wish you all GG's in the future. And before I do close it out, next week, take a look at the schedule here. I do believe Insight Gaming has one more week to play before playoffs start. So there is at least 3 more weeks here. 2 more weeks to go before playoffs start in the Nidus League. Next week, it will be Formless Bear Sloths versus Insight Gaming, with the starting map being Verdor Temple. Wait for this game to finish up on stream before I finally hit the stop streaming button. But with that, have a good night.